before the break, we were talking about this new vocabulary that we now have.
Right.
And the fact that there are so many different channels within social media.
Right.
Where can someone go to just get basic information? What does it mean to like a page? What does it mean to be a fan?
You could go to any one of the channels, Twitter or Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and many of them have tutorials. So you could just go to Google and Google tutorial on Facebook, and you will get unlimited information. And there are many, Facebook itself has a very good help section, and it will walk you through the differences between a personal profile and a fan page, and proper etiquette for both. And it will let you know what a like is and a fan is, and how you interact with a fan as opposed to interacting with a friend. And does my fan page and my Facebook profile, personal profile, ever have to interact with one another? And as we'd mentioned earlier, no. And that's one of the biggest fears that many have is, I don't really want my business knowing about, the party photos that might be on my Facebook page. And the only way they really would know that is if they're your friend on Facebook. But once you create a fan page on Facebook, then unless for whatever reason you're promoting a lot of your fan page information to your friendship base, the two really don't interact that much. And fans that aren't friends cannot access your personal profile. Again, the security is relatively tight on Facebook. So those two worlds rarely have to come together.
Yeah. Let's spend a little bit of time for those viewers talking about what is the right channel for me, and then how do I use that channel to promote my business?
It depends on the business. So if your business is more business to consumer, where you're really working directly with the consumer, Facebook's very powerful in that you are able to engage with your fans. You can update them on promotions that you're having. You can share with them industry trends that are going on. Remember, when we're sharing information on Facebook or any social media for that matter, an 80-20 rule will apply. 80% of the time, you want to share informational content, content that's going to help your followers, your network, something that they can use that will help them. They may never do business with you, but you're still giving them information that will help them. And 20% of the time, it's promotional. So 80% informational, 20% promotional. If you follow that ratio, then that, etiquette-wise, is the best formula in terms of the content that you're sharing with your fans and others, your followers on Twitter, those that are linked up with you on LinkedIn, those that have repinned your images on Pinterest, those that are subscribing to your YouTube channel. What Facebook and Twitter are very good at is communication. They're great communication tools. It's a great way to stay in touch with your client base, your prospect base, and inform them about what's going on with your business and any updates, any promotions you're doing, like 20% of the time. And what value-added information you can give them that will help them. You're always thinking, what is this information going to help the person that's in my network? Otherwise, why am I doing it? And as far as the business to consumer, or B2C as we call it, Twitter's also very effective. Again, they're both relatively real-time communication tools. A lot of the times we're getting our news on Twitter before we're even getting it on network television or local TV.
It's exactly true,
And people use Twitter to monitor their reputation, as well as Google to monitor their reputation. So if communication and engagement is the end goal, then Facebook and Twitter are very effective. If you're more business to business, where you're really selling to other businesses or servicing other businesses, LinkedIn is very, very powerful. It's my favorite channel. It's set up very easily to, anyone can really set their profile up on LinkedIn and join relevant groups and really elevate their expert status on LinkedIn. So if you're selling or servicing other businesses or you're B2B, LinkedIn is a very strong social media channel to be heavily involved with. You can develop thought leadership, you can share your blog posts, you can start discussions on different groups. So there's many things that on a B2B basis LinkedIn is very good at. Pinterest has also been getting a lot of traction in the social media world because we're such visual creatures. A lot of the information that we're taking in today is visual, and Pinterest is just taken off. And it is really more business to consumer, but more business to business brands are also using Pinterest because you can use it to upload your blog posts, to upload infographics, or anything related to what you think your customer or target market would be interested in visually. And then you let people know that you have a Pinterest account, and then they start repinning your images. So Pinterest is very good when it comes to engagement and communication and viral shares. So sharing your images virally.
Talk about YouTube a little bit, because I know that that is a great tool that businesses are using for promotion and to communicate what it is that they're doing. So how effective do you think YouTube is?
YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. And it is a very powerful marketing tool. Again, we're visual people. Multimedia is very sticky when it comes to people interacting with a website or your YouTube channel or any of the social media. If you have photos, if you have movies or video that you've shot around business or anything else that pertains to your business, people tend to spend time on that. Because Google owns YouTube now, it's a huge search tool as well. So when you do a video and you upload it to YouTube, to your YouTube channel, and it's properly tagged with keywords and whatnot, and there's a link back to your website, it can show up in searches sometimes further up on the first page search results than a regular organic like your website or any other profile, because LinkedIn profiles come up a lot in web searches as well. So YouTube's very effective at that, getting the emotional connection with others with regard to what it is that you do. And it goes viral pretty quickly if it's well done.
Or
Even
not.
If it's not well done, it can go viral pretty quickly. And it has great search value. So if you have your videos nested in your website as well as on YouTube, you can also share your videos on all the other social media channels. The more they're scattered about in the social media world, the better, because there's much better chance that you'll show up in a search result. And the differences between social media and search engine optimization, meaning you optimize your website so Google finds you, is that social is really about engagement. It's about sharing valuable content. Search engine optimization is closer to the sale. So when someone finds you in a search, they've actually put in a keyword about something that they're interested in. It's a warm lead, if you will. And so the more social media and search engine optimization are starting to cross-pollinate a lot more. Google looks at social signals now as an important indicator of your online authority. So if you have a pretty consistent presence on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, Google can pick up those signals and see that you're pretty active online, and those posts, especially if they're keyword rich, get picked up in searches. So again, I go back to there's no one silver bullet. The integrated approach is what's powerful in terms of getting the online traction that you're looking for.
That's a great example. You mentioned earlier tracking reputation, and I'm interested in talking about that because I know as a company, at Dominion as a company, when we first entered into the social media world, some of the executives asked some questions about, well, what happens if you have a customer who chooses to go on Facebook and just blast the company? How do you handle that?
We're in such a transparent world now.
Yeah.
Those that don't do business as well as others are getting found out a lot faster. And so it's very important to know what people are saying about you. Google Alerts is a very good way to monitor anything that's coming up with regard to a mention of your name, a mention of your business, or tracking any specific keyword related to your business. But I would recommend, and do recommend to our clients, set up your name in quotes and your business name in quotes as a Google alert. And you can go to google.com and just Google, how do I get on Google Alerts? And you have to have a Google account.
Right.
But you can set up your Google Alerts so each time that phrase is mentioned anywhere, you'll get an email from Google saying, this just came up.
Right.
And I have it for my business and my name as well. You can do it for competitors as well to see what's going on with them. And you can also check to see what kind of reviews you're getting.
Yes.
And reviews are very important because they can often be the tipping point for a customer that has found you and perhaps 3 others online, and you're on the first page search results, but one customer has 8 reviews and another has 1 and another has none. So the customer will often and may often go to the business that has the most reviews.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that the review is positive. But if it's not, and you don't have control over how someone's going to review you, the best way to handle that is to respond in a way that acknowledges what the person has said and refute it in a very professional way if in fact that's called for. But I often recommend to my clients that they do respond. My recommendation has always been to a client, if they've seen a review that may not be as glowing as they'd like, to respond to it and then leave it at that. If it's a downright untruth, that it's just simply not based in any kind of truth and it's mean-spirited, then you can complain to Google and they can remove it. There's no promise that they will.
Right, right.
As far as the other social media, though, you have a little bit more control as to the editorial that goes on your profiles. With Google, not as much, because when it's up there, it's up there. So you want to encourage your customers to go on Google and leave a review, and that eventually would push the not so favorable review down, so it's not as relevant.
Right.
But if someone sees that negative review and they see that you've responded to it in a very high-road, professional way, that really looks very favorable to that business as far as the consumer can see, if there's going to be an issue, I know how this company will handle it.
I've so enjoyed our conversation. We've got just about a minute left, and I just want to say,
where did the time go?
Where did the time go? Yes, but technology has really enveloped our lives, and we have to take a break from it sometimes.
Yes.
So how do you take your break?
I really have to turn it off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And email. I go away. I love to camp. I love to
No Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi. And although I will look to see if they have Wi-Fi. But most of the time, I will turn it off because it's information overload, and we were talking about that earlier, and then that's unproductive.
Yeah.
And then you can't really discern what's useful and what isn't. And I think at the end of the day, it's important to have those human interactions and put the digital toys away.
Exactly.
And get back to the face-to-face conversations with people, because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And these other tools, laptops and smartphones and iPads and all of it, they are just tools.
Right.
They're a means to communicate, but it should never take the place of face-to-face communication.
Well, I've enjoyed this face-to-face with you. This has been so nice.
Yes.
And we've learned so much. So you are a true professional. I hope that anybody who needs any assistance with social media will get in touch with you. So thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today for Tyson's TV. We look forward to seeing you next month.